Everyone, welcome back to the Dailey Blend Show with me, Reed Dailey. Today is Friday, February 17th, and if you didn't screw up this week and got that special someone in your life a nice gift, a thoughtful note, maybe took them out to dinner, you owe yourself a fantastic glass of wine or a delicious cocktail. But we're not here to talk about either of those. We're talking about the Friday Top 5, which is, if you are new around here, 5 things that I thought were notable or interesting or culturally significant. Basically anything that I thought was neat, exciting. Probably never going to use the word neat again on this podcast. Before we jump into the show, reminder that we are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. With all that said, let's jump into the show. So my first story is on Victorial. It's a it's a carbon Sonos turntable, and it's a very beautiful sort of mid-century looking turntable with a big volume knob on the front. The YouTube video that we linked over at daileyblend.com has the turntable sitting on a stand with a bunch of records and then 2 Play 5s sitting right next to them. Couple things on this. So I've seen a couple turntables that say they work with Sonos. I think there's 1 or 2 other brands. I'm blanking on their names. I bought the $100 turntable from Target, and I've got it connected through a preamp that was like $29 and then into the Sonos Connect, I think it's what it's called. That works great, but it's not very clean. It's not very elegant. This looks very slick. So if you've got a really cool, family room, living room, music listening space, this looks like a fantastic addition to any audiophile's arsenal. If you are at Victrola and you are hearing this, send me a note, DM me. I'd love to do a review and product feature on this show and on this website. All right, moving from music, we're going to talk about sports, most notably sports and adult beverages. The good people over at Happy Dad and Prince, so these are 2 brands, have collaborated. Happy Dad is a hard seltzer brand that was founded only a couple years ago by some friends, which is pretty amazing at how big they've grown. And Prince is the longtime tennis brand. What looks to me, just going to Prince, looks like an outsourced play where someone owns the rights to Prince, is making some stuff. The merch is fantastic. They've got shorts, hats, crop tops, regular shirts, polos, leather bags. It's all sort of 90s, or like late 80s, early 90s nostalgia. I put a couple of my favorite pieces over on Dailey Blend, so go check those out. And I think this summer I'm going to get back into Prince, and because I live in Chicago, Wilson, they're actually based here, and start rocking some Prince and Wilson gear. So be on the lookout for Happy Dad times Prince gear coming to Lake Forest. All right, we had a couple very nice spring days in Chicago, and it always happens in February. We're like, oh my gosh, the winter is done. The winter is done. And then you realize, nope, you live in Chicago. And what stinks is it snowed again. And, it is life, but whatever. So I am here to tell you about a fantastic documentary, which is really one of my, favorite ones that I'm going to watch this weekend, or not favorite ones, the ones I'm most excited about watching this weekend, which is the Netflix documentary. It's the same folks that did all the Formula One ones, but it's called Full Swing. It follows Rory McIlroy, Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, Koepka, Colin Morikawa, Dustin Johnson, Tony Finau, and more. What a great year to do this, as you had the LIV sort of PGA shake up. So I'm pretty excited to check this out. Every single one of my friends who's watched it says it is absolutely fantastic. So really looking forward to this one. And you should go check it out and obviously get ready for the Genesis weekend. Tiger made the cut. This is the tournament where a few years back he was driving his Genesis car and it flipped and he almost lost his leg. It was like a whole thing. And he's playing really well. And, go check out the documentary, go to your local PGA store, purchase some new clubs, and find me on the links. Next up is a Instagram post story that I got advertised to. And I think obviously it's from Valentine's Day week. But you can basically go on this website. It's called Music Memories Custom Canvas. And you can go on and pick your favorite song and your person. Like on the advertisement, they said yourself, but you could put like your spouse, your kids. And it's all the lyrics from the song and sort of a record, and it's a poster. It's pretty cool. It looks really slick. And, I think I obviously missed purchasing this for this Valentine's Day, but I think I'm going to get it for my wife on next Valentine's Day. So if you're listening to this, forget that I told you that. So it's a surprise. Next up, as I sort of take a rip of Red Bull sugar-free, I'm a little tired today, is the sneaker story. We're always doing sneakers as the fifth story. Under Armour has put Slip Speed out in market. It's essentially like a hybrid shoe. It's supposed to be for athletes. It has a BOA system, which if you're less familiar, it's that ratcheting system that became pretty popular thanks to ski boots. And then the back heel sort of folds down. And there's a couple kind of dad shoes, not dad sneaker shoes, but shoes dads wear that are for the beach that are like this. So it's like almost like a slide or a sneaker. And they did a whole promotion about the shoe in New York City in Times Square this week. Kevin Plank, the former CEO, was there hyping, Under Armour. And, the shoe looks pretty cool. I'm always a little reluctant to buy Under Armour shoes just because I've had a couple pairs that I just haven't found to be that comfortable. But I'm assuming they've updated since the, time I bought them, 5 years ago. But they look pretty slick. Under Armour, sponsor the pod. Send me a pair for a review. I'm down. And, let's get it going here. This was definitely one of the shorter or most short Friday Top 5s. Just a crazy week. A lot of travel, a lot of meetings, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to do better next week. We will be back with the weekly rundown on Tuesday and then the Friday Top 5 next week. As always, outside of the Friday Top 5 and the weekly rundown, be on the lookout. I'm about to release episode 149 of the Dailey Blend podcast, not to be confused with the Dailey Blend show. That is my house music podcast that's been running for 10 years. We're almost to episode 150. I'm trying to decide if I want to just do, songs that I like right now, or if I want to go back and do songs of the last, year or two, or if I want to go back and look at all songs across the spectrum. Not sure. We're going to try to think about that over the weekend. Pour myself a Negroni, pour some tequila. Haven't decided yet. Kind of pontificate on that. But, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe to the show. And we will catch you next week. Enjoy your weekend.